Hey everybody! Welcome back to Big Hair Gaming. We're here with another video covering our favorite game, Last War. And today's topic is everything you need to know about starting off strong in Season 3. So the goal of this video is going to be to cover all the new stuff that comes out in weeks 1 and 2, as well as covering what you should be focusing on building right when the season starts and how to do that. And we'll go over like all the new stuff. We'll go over the documents that they have. We'll go over the season materials, strategy, all that sorts of stuff. So this one is going to be a big video. So before we get into it, like always, I want to say that if you find that it's helpful at any point in the video, feel free to like and comment. Drop a comment down below, even if it's just like, yo, thanks for the video, because that stuff does help out my channel, and I do really appreciate it. If this is your first video, and this is the first one that you've seen, feel free to subscribe. I got a whole bunch of tutorials and guides and tips and tricks and all sorts of stuff to help you pop off in the game without breaking the bank. And then lastly, I want to say that if you really enjoy the content that I'm putting down, feel free to hit the join button down below. With that, you can become a member, channel, supporter, subscriber thing, whatever. And with that, you'll get like a cool flare next to your name. You'll get access to videos like a day or two early or a couple days early. As well as some access to cool live streams and events, and a couple of members-only videos that I have sitting around. But yeah, with that, let's jump on in. So first up, we're going to hit over here to our Season 3 button, and we'll go through just the little info button at the top, because this will pretty much tell you everything you need to know. Oh, wait, not that one. This one. There you go. This will tell you pretty much everything you need to know. So you get a little bit of lore stuff up here. Basically, first thing you need to know is spice is the measure by which you're going to be judged for this season. So that's going to determine where your alliance is ranked individually, as well as where your server is ranked amongst all the other servers. You're going to have an alliance center. This basically serves a similar purpose that the alliance furnace did in season 2. Basically, you'll have some special area of effect buffs that you'll get, as well as some special stuff that will become access to as your alliance center levels up, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. We're going to have introduction to desert protectors, and basically what these guys are special troops that you can get whenever your troops die. With the help of your alliance mates, you'll be able to convert them into desert protectors. And desert protectors are basically a stronger than your regular troop type of troop that has its own separate military. And you also get a couple of special skills as well that we'll go over as well. Next up, we have the Sandworm Crisis. Now, the Season 3 is a little bit Dune-inspired, for those who are fans of the movie, and the book series as well. But there's basically giant sandworms that are around. There's some small ones, there's large ones, and there's giant ones. And defeating them in any configuration of those is going to grant you some sandworm scales that you'll be able to trade into resources in a desert bazaar. The season-specific buildings and materials. You have Sacred Water, which we'll talk about. You got Mithril. You have your Curse Research Lab, which is basically going to serve the same purpose as your Virus Research Lab from Season 1 or your Furnace in Season 2. The Blessing Fountain, which is basically just going to generate the stuff that you need to level up your Curse Research Lab. Then we have the Altar, which is going to be something that becomes available like with seasons 1 and 2, where you had the vehicles that would boost the strength of your air, missile, and tank teams. The Altar is a special building that will increase the strength of your desert protectors. And then you have the Protectors Field, which is that special army that I mentioned that just houses your protectors. And then we have some build and oasis thing, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But those are some of the general stuff. But let's get into the season-specific buildings first. So the Protectors Field, we talked about this a little bit. We know what these guys do. But they also come with some special abilities in that as you obtain more Desert Protectors, that you're going to gain more and more power for those Desert Protectors. So once you get 500 of them, you're going to gain the ability Power of Adaptation, which is going to give you a extra curse resistance for your Desert Protector army, as well as a 25% attack power boost, which is pretty nice. Then at 750, you're going to gain the skill Death Shockwave, which when you're defeated, when you send an army of protectors and they lose, they're going to basically give off a death rattle, or in this case, what they call a death shockwave, which basically means that like when they're defeated, that they're going to take some of your opponent with them, and you're going to kill 5% of their troops with that skill, which is not nothing, but it's something that's nice to add on to. Next up is the Blue Flame spell, which when you breach an opponent's base with your Desert Protector, so when you win the combat, you're going to set their base on fire with fire that can't go out. They'll be set ablaze with blue inextinguishable blue flames, which is pretty nice. Basically mage fire, for those of you who are familiar with the idea. And then lastly, we have the Protector Rally, which becomes available at 1250 protectors, which basically just allows you to start a rally with only protectors. So when you're asking for help or you're doing other stuff, you can start a rally and choose that you want your units to use protectors. Or you can, or if you help someone, I mean, you can say that you want to send protectors to aid them. But with this skill, you can start a rally that says that only people who use protectors can join, so that you can get a bigger damage increase for that. But that's all of your special skills that come with the Desert Protector. Now, the last thing that I'll say about it is that when you're upgrading your Protector's field, you want to make sure that you don't exceed level 10. The reason for that is that level 10 is the minimum level that you need in order to get the last buff that the Protector's field is going to offer. So level 10 is enough, and then at level 10, I think that's when you start needing a second resource. So I can't remember from when it was, but I think to get to level 10, you only need Mithril. But to get past level 10, you have to start spending Mithril and Sacred Water, which you don't want to do because you're going to be able to use your Sacred Water. You want to use your Sacred Water for upgrading your Cursed Research Lab. So save it for that, get to level 10, and then you can stop. So now going over to these other season-specific buildings. So these are all ones that you should be familiar with from Season 1 and from Season 2. But we'll go over the strategy just to make sure that it's reiterated here, just so you don't mess up. So you'll note here that I have 5. Memory doesn't trick you. Like, you still do only get 4 generators, as I call them, because that's what they do. They generate the resource that you need to upgrade the thing that's actually important. But you get 4 generators by default, and then with the weekly pass, you can get a 5th. Now, I do, as always, I recommend grabbing the weekly pass, at least for the first couple weeks of the season, so that you can get your curse resistance up as high as you can, as fast as you can. But once you get this maxed out, it's not so important that you maintain the weekly pass after that point. So maybe you might only need it for the first maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how quickly your alliance is progressing, or how regularly you play, or all that sorts of stuff. But I recommend grabbing it initially, but you don't have to do it forever. Now, as far as upgrading, the thing that's most important to remember is do not focus on the weekly pass fountain. You want to make sure that you upgrade your first fountain up to level 15 first. All of your resources should go to that initially, because once it hits level 15, you're going to unlock the second one. Then stop upgrading the first fountain, and then start upgrading the second fountain up to level 15. The reason being is that they cascade, so once the first one gets to level 15, you unlock the second. Once the second gets to level 15, you unlock the third, and so on and so forth. Once you have all 4 fountains, then you can comfortably bring all fountains up to the same level, and then level them all up uniformly without worry. Like, that's the way that you want to make sure that you do it. That's the way that'll keep you kind of topped off to go as fast as you can with that build. So the last thing we'll talk about in terms of new buildings that are available is we're going to talk about the Alliance Center. So the Alliance Center basically kind of does like the same deal that it does in Season 1 and Season 2, where you generate this material, and the material for this season is going to be spice. That's, again, that Dune reference. Let the spice flow. But the most important thing is that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what level your Alliance Center is at. So for my Alliance, we were able to hit level 5 by the end of the first week of the season. Once you get to level 5, you're going to unlock the ability for your Alliance Center to produce mithril. And you're going to get a lot of it for doing this. So you want to make sure that you and your Alliance mates know to click on your Alliance Center and come and collect that mithril so that you can upgrade your season-specific buildings and then subsequently upgrade your overall curse resistance as well. That's going to be really important. That's definitely something that's going to help you grow really quickly. So make sure you pay attention to it. Alrighty, now, next up into this section, we're going to talk about efficient progression and basically what you want to do right when you start off to make sure that you're moving quickly as fast as you can and you're upgrading those season-specific buildings to raise your curse resistance quickly. Up next, we're talking about efficiently killing zombies in the beginning of the season. So what you're going to want to focus on is that you want to focus on your Doom Elites and also your regular zombies. Now, once the season starts, your progression from Season 2 as far as the highest level that you've killed is going to be wiped and everybody will go back down to level 1. So each first kill for the zombies is going to net you a Hero's Return recruitment ticket as well as some mithril. And the recruitment ticket is nice, but what we're mostly concerned with is trying to obtain as much mithril as we can. So you're going to want to kill as many levels of zombies as you can for each type because they all have unique first kill rewards. So don't just focus on tanks, but make sure you're hitting all 3 and try to keep them relatively close to each other just so you know where you're at. For Doom Elites, however, they're going to give you not only mithril, but also some sacred water as well as 2 hero recruitment return tickets. Which is nice, but the sacred water and the mithril is basically what we're going to use to focus on boosting our various fountains that we'll have. We'll boost this up to 15, get the second one, so on and so forth, like we said. And the sacred water is going to help you, give you an extra little boost to start boosting your way up through the first early levels of the Curse Research Lab. So make sure that you're grabbing those. And then like we mentioned before, the mithril will also give us enough to boost up our protectors field up to level 10 so we can get that final buff for our protectors. Alrighty, now up next we have our week 2 events that occur. So we'll jump over into here, and what's going to happen is we'll have the Oasis project that becomes available. There's also Archeology and Digging, which is pretty cool. Yet another opportunity for you to get some cool rewards. And then we have the Return of the Dead event, which is going to come back from Season 2, like the dead. And then just some regular, cities become available, but we also do have the Trade Post, which is pretty nice, and we'll talk about that as well. So, the Oasis project. Now, basically what this is kind of like a more streamlined treasure hunting mechanic that we saw in Season 2. So the way that it worked in Season 2 was you could throw down a firebomb, which I think was like a 2-day cooldown or something like that. Kind of took a while. Or an R4 could move your Alliance Furnace somewhere, and you would hope that you got lucky and you would grab treasure from that way. In Season 3, it works a bit differently, where I think this system is much better as it allows everyone to participate in a more reasonable timescale. Whereas before, I think you had to wait quite a while just so that you would be able to have enough power to heat the earth so that you could reveal treasure. Now it's a bit more doable, where once you take over a town, what'll happen is the area here where you have this dark green mass, what is usually the mud, but here you have this dark green mass. That will be the area that you can branch off of, or that you can greenify. And basically what it'll do is that you can send your plane over to it for only the cost of 10 stamina. And what it'll do is that it'll expand the area around it with more green space. And essentially, the more green space that you reveal, eventually you'll find some treasure that's buried under it, and you can grab 5 treasures per day, which is very, very nice. And it's something that I really like, that everybody can participate. So it's not restricted to, there you go, now it's green, but it's not restricted to only, you know, your R5 or your R4 has the ability to meaningfully help you hunt for treasure. And then there was like the risk of like, oh well, what if I need my firebomb in the next 2 days? Like, you don't want to get rid of it because you might be taking territory in a very cold area where it becomes very much more valuable than just, you know, grabbing a couple supplies and resources. So I think that this is a much better mechanic and a better way of doing this. Now, moving along to the next part is we have the desert treasure mechanic. So this is really cool, and I'm really liking this. So the way it works is there's two ways for you to grab treasure. There's a desert compass, which you can get sometimes during your radar scans. So while you're doing scans, you're going through and you're clicking stuff, you might have a compass that you might get from doing one of the events. Alternatively, there's also alliance-wide treasure hunts that you can do. And basically what it'll do is it'll bring up like a big grid of squares, and every person in the alliance can click on one square to try to reveal treasure. And you work together with your alliance mates to reveal the treasure. And the more things that you reveal, the more resources that everybody gets, which is pretty cool. But I'll show you what this one looks like for just the solo desert vaults. What it does is basically every day, I think it is, you'll get another desert vault that you can gain access to. Additionally, in order to play the mini game, you need to get archaeologists' hammers, which you'll get from just like a random visitor who will show up, I think, like every day, and he gives you like 20 hammers or something like that. So basically the way it works is there's a couple of icons of treasure that are hidden here on the map. And so the way that I like to approach it is like I try to click first where stuff can only be. So there's one thing that's 1x4, there's a 3x3, and there's another 3x3. So we're almost definitely going to hit something if we click like right here, for example. Okay, or we're definitely going to hit something if we click like right here, for example. And there we go. So we have our first one. Excuse me. And I'm going to click through these, and then like as I reveal everything around it, once it's all exposed, then it becomes available and it's checked off. And because this is a 1x4, I have to check at least like every row, but I don't need to check every column. So he's not going to be up there. Let's see. Maybe this one is actually just a single. I thought it was a 3x3, but it might be just one block wide. Not there. It's probably here. Alrighty. Yeah, I think this one might be harder than I thought it was. I think this one is just one block. Unfortunate. It could be anywhere. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. We got it. Okay, it is one block. I thought it was another circle, so they got me. But yeah, you can see the reward that you get for that. Not a whole bunch of exclusive weapon shards, unfortunately. We know how much we love those, but we do get like a 2 handfuls of mithril, which is solid. That's going to help us boost our buildings up. But yeah, this is the desert treasure mini game, which is pretty neat. The stronghold clash is just exactly what you think it is. It's just a button that just shows you all the strongholds and what your rankings are for how many you hold and everything like that. The city clash is exactly what you would think it is. It just gives you the countdown to the next city, so this is nothing. But it is important for you to grab first capture bonuses, because those are going to give you a whole bunch of sacred water and a whole bunch more mithril, as well as some heroes return recruitment tickets. And you want to grab those as quick as you can. You want to be the first people to take territory for whatever territory is available, because you're going to get those first capture rewards, and they're very, very nice. And like these are for a hero recruitment page that just has like slightly better rewards than the regular one, so you definitely want to grab those. Here we go. So now moving on to the Return of the Dead. So this is basically works the same way that the monster attack from the capital worked from season 2, where basically a number of these monsters are going to attack in multiple waves. And where do I want to go? Here we go. And for defeating every wave, you're going to get more and more rewards. And I think it's a maximum of 30 waves that you have to beat. And every 5, you're going to get some more recruitment tickets, some more mithril, and some more sacred water, as well as some healing speed ups. But super easy. When this event happens, just like it did in season 2, what's going to happen is that the monsters are going to attack your alliance furnace, or sorry, not alliance furnace, alliance center. And you want to make sure that you reinforce it with some of your troops. Make sure you do it just before you sign off, so that way you don't have to worry about it. But if you can be around, it's helpful to be around. Otherwise, just try to support your alliance and reinforce it with whatever you have, and then wherever you turns out when you get up is where it is. Cool. So that's that, and then the last stuff to talk about is the season battle pass, and the Desert Bazaar and the hero swap, and I guess the season boost as well. So season battle pass is something that I always recommend that people take. It's super valuable, and as you can see here, it's not like the weekly pass, which only lasts like a week, or the other ones that last like I think like 10 days or something like that. These last for the entirety of the season, and the whole time you're gonna get extra mithril, you're gonna get some extra hero shards, you're gonna get extra hero recruitment tickets for the special store, you're gonna get profession exp, you're gonna get diamonds. Like, it's absolutely worth it, and possibly the most important thing is that you're going to get season 3 skill points. Those are going to be super valuable. My season 3 profession video is going to drop real soon, and I'm going to talk about all the new professions that are available, or not professions that are available, but the profession skills that are available. And you're definitely going to want to have as much exp as you can and as much skill points as you can, because there's some real good stuff coming down the pipe on that end. So definitely recommend grabbing all levels of the season battle pass. It's going to be a big boost for you. We already talked about the weekly battle pass, but just to reiterate what you get for it, that's going to give you, in addition to the regular stuff where you get an extra fountain, you're going to get a slight increase to your curse resistance. You get a couple of mithril, but also every day you're going to get a protector horn or 50 protector horns, which is something that you can use to summon desert protectors. So if you're ever hurting for them, or you're pretty low, or you just want more so you can do whatever it is you're trying to do, like, you can use those desert protector horns to just instantly summon more. You're going to get 50 energy, as well as a little bit of mithril and some speed ups. So definitely worth it. Not necessarily for those reasons, but like just for the fountain blessing and by itself, I think is really valuable. And then next to last, we have the Desert Bazaar, which is basically just a shop that you can access, where all of the sandworm scales that you'll get for defeating the various sandworms, for small, medium, and big, you can exchange for different supplies and resources here in the shop. So you'll see, like, I've already bought quite a few of them here. I grabbed the universal exclusive weapon shards. I grabbed some protector horns. There's the desert compass that allows you to pull up another vault. There's the archaeologist hammers that allow you to break those blocks that we did a little bit ago. But this is super valuable. You can essentially get as many research speed ups and construction speed ups as you want. So for me, and this refreshes every week, so you never have to worry about, like, oh, if you really want research speed ups, you never have to worry about running out and not being able to buy more, because you can buy like almost 10,000 of them every single week. So definitely keep this shop in the back of your mind, because it's going to be a big help to you going forward. And then lastly, the things that become available, we do have a new hero swap opportunity available this season, where you can swap 2 heroes that are going to be your UR heroes this season. Now, there are some constraints. So when you swap the 2, you're going to swap levels, gear, rank stars, and the hero shards will also be swapped. But it will not swap exclusive weapon values. So if you're looking to swap over all of the investment of an exclusive weapon from one hero to another, sorry to say that you can't do that. But you should know that if you have one hero who has an exclusive weapon, and you swap stars with another who is not 5 stars, you'll lose access to the buffs of that exclusive weapon until you get them back up to 5 stars. So be cautious, don't make any mistakes, and think that you can still have the exclusive weapon and have a hero who's less than 5 stars. They won't let you do that. And it also, you'll get back all your skill medals, and you only get 2 of these. So be cautious with them. For those of you who are familiar, I got a lot of comments on a couple videos way back in season 2 about if you would get more swap cards in season 2 to be able to swap heroes, and at least for me at the time, I did not. So I'm gonna assume that if you want to swap two heroes with your Golden Realm hero swap, that these are the only 2 cards that you're going to get. So like make sure that you're really certain about who you switch them with, because I will not assume that we're going to get more. But yeah, I think that is going to bring us to the end. That's just about all the new stuff for Season 3 in terms of buildings and resources and what to do and when to do it. So, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video with your Alliance mates, because all that stuff does help out my channel, and I do really appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out to our channel member subscribers. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that you like the content that I'm putting down enough to, help me out a little bit month to month. And you'll see their names here on the screen just to give them a little bit of a shout out. But yeah, with that, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for listening. And I'll catch you in the next one.